Hey guys, it's Ryan. Welcome back for another episode of Wife Life. This is my morning voice. Um, I'm up editing the video that you guys are watching right now, actually. And I needed an intro because I'm splitting the video in half. But this week we're going to talk about what happens when you realize maybe God is calling you to do a little bit more than what you're doing. Maybe you thought you were going to be okay with being a mom and a wife, and that's it, because those are big enough tasks. But what happens when there's more and you have to deal with mommy guilt and wife guilt? So we're going to talk about it. We're going to give some practical tips to really living out our purpose. So if that intrigues you, let's get started. I will trust your love. I will trust your words. I will trust your wisdom. I will put you first. So let's talk about some practical things that we can do, because I came into my marriage thinking that I would be fine being a wife and a mother if God blessed me to do that, and I would feel great and fulfilled. And you know what? I might have been okay for a few years longer, but there was something in me that felt like, I don't know, I felt claustrophobic. I felt spiritually claustrophobic. Like, I need to stretch out, but I am confining myself to this box and telling myself that it's okay. I'll be fine right here. And it wasn't true. And I don't know how much longer I could have allowed myself to be in that box before I tried to break out of it. Not going to be like, hey guys, I'm in this box. Can you let me out? Like, I would have, which would not be good for my marriage. It all came to a head one night. I was driving home from an event that I had emceed, and I was by myself. I was talking to my mom in the car, and she asked me why the car was so quiet. She said, are the girls both asleep? I said, well, they're not with me. She said, oh, okay. So Jonathan's with you? And I said, no, ma'am, it's just me. And my mom sounded so disappointed. And she basically told me that, one, my daughters deserve to see their mother living out her purpose and working within her gifts. And my husband also needed to see his wife living out her purpose and being the fullness of who she is, so that he can truly appreciate the woman that he married. Also, I'd had a conversation with some friends that came over, a married couple, and the husband was expressing how much he loves to see his wife live out and perform her gifts and put them on display. He just really, it was encouraging to see her do it, and he lit up watching her. And Jonathan agreed as well. But me and the other wife were both saying, well, I mean, there's so much to do. How can we possibly do our hobbies and dreams when dinner has to be made, the house needs to be cleaned, the kids need to be taken care of, and you need to find your socks? How are we supposed to do all of that? Easier said than done. And both of those conversations with the friends and with my mom really got me thinking. And then later, God kind of convicted me. And the thought was, how dare you sit on all the things that I placed inside of you? I assigned you to a ministry, and you're just going to say no to that. You're going to keep putting it on hold. You're going to keep saying, well, I'll wait till the kids are in school. And then it'll be, I'll wait for them to be in high school. And then I'll wait for them to graduate from college. And before you know it, you haven't done anything. And resentment has built in, and lackadaisicalness. Is that a word? Laziness? I don't know. So that put a fire in me to get started. And I didn't know where to start. I had no idea. I was just all this ball of energy, like, oh, gotta do it. Where? What do I do? Luke 14 talks practically about counting up the cost for discipleship. It says that a man that is going to build a tower, would he not sit down first and figure out what he needs, what it's going to cost to do it? Otherwise, halfway through it, realize he doesn't have enough stuff, and people are going to be, talking about him like, hey, how you going to start something like this and not have everything together to finish it? And so that's what I did. I started writing down the visions that I believed that God was giving me, and the ministries and purpose that I thought I'm supposed to be working in. After I wrote down what I thought God was calling me to do, then I start writing down and figuring out what it's going to take to do it. I mean, practically, childcare. Let's go ahead and write it down. How many hours can I put to this in a day? How many hours can I spend with God? Time to myself. Do I need help around the house? A mentor? Absolutely. Everything. Count up the costs, write it all down, make it plain. The next thing I did was look at my list, see what things I already have, and then separate the things that I don't have yet. And those are the things that I'm going to focus on and ask God to reveal in my life. God, I believe this is what you're wanting me to do. I need you to help me to be able to make it happen. You remember Moses? Remember how God told him what he needed him to do, and Moses came up with all the excuses? God still was like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm going to send your brother, Aaron. He's going to help you. Don't worry about it. And so God has everything that we need in order to fulfill our purpose. The next thing I did is talk to my husband, because my purpose and his purpose affect one another. There are some ways where they intertwine, and there are some things that are specifically me. And women's ministry is just me, and he supports it. But anytime I feel like God is calling me to do something or placing something on my heart, I can get so excited about it. Like, there was one time I was in church service, guys, and I just was hit with all this inspiration. So I'm like writing it down, I'm jotting, I'm like, oh, this is great. We get in the car and I just can't wait. And my first thought was to just tell him all this stuff, like, hey, we should be doing this and this and that. And wisdom swept in. So instead, I said, hey, babe, I felt like these were some things that need to be done that we should definitely be doing, but could you pray on them and just consider them, and then we can talk about them later? You can tell me what you think. God is not gonna just talk to me. I am his helper. He is my covering. And so I want to know what he thinks, even if it's just something for me, because my stuff will affect him. When we sit down with our husband, it's important that we bring the list, the vision, and the needs that we have in order to achieve these things. We need to be telling them what we need. It should not be that we assume that they know, although it would be great if they did. Hello. Anticipate my needs. It's not that hard. Everybody can see what's needed. Why can't you? But they're just not wired like that. They're wired all wonky. They're just that's why they have us. We complete them. Who knew that one rib could break a whole person? All God took was one rib out of you, and now look, you're paralyzed, you're blind, you're mute, it's easy to feel like after you've gotten all that out the way, it's like, okay, I'm set. Now, God, I'm ready to move. I'm ready to move. And it might not all just fall into place like that. It might not be that easy. And maybe the list of things that you need from God are not going to come that quickly. Just be patient. But you know what? Sometimes in our patience, we're waiting for perfection. That's not going to happen. Perfection is an opinion anyway. If you're waiting for your standard of the time being right, then it ain't going to happen. My personal struggle, if we can just put ourselves out there, has been asking for help. That keeps me from getting a lot of things done. Fear that other people aren't going to do things like I do them, that gets in the way of me so much. So what if somebody doesn't make the PB&J like me? Let somebody else make the PB&J for your kid, Ryan. You got other stuff to do. It's not about you. It's about the missions. It's about raising these kids. It's about having a solid home. It's about living out these women's ministries. That's what I'm supposed to be doing, not trying to win an award in best bubble bath drawing. We have got to let go of our expectations of the way things are supposed to look and how they're supposed to be. Sometimes purpose and ministry are messy. There's never going to be complete balance. Something is always going to take most of our attention, and it's going to be up to us to know when that time is. I am so guilty of letting mommy guilt and wife guilt get in the way, so much so that I put all the burden on me and I don't pour that and spread that out amongst my family and amongst my village. I don't ask my husband to help me with some of the chores around the house because either I feel like, no, this is the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing, or he should just see that there's a need and he should do it. I shouldn't have to constantly ask him, can you clean the kitchen for me? And when he doesn't, I shouldn't have to be like, oh, thank you so much. This means so much to me. Like, I cannot expect for my house to always be immaculate. The best I can do is create a play area. Let them wreak havoc in that play area and be okay with the fact that sometimes my house is not going to be perfect, but my life will be. And it will be perfect because I'm walking in the Spirit. I'm living out my purpose. I'm loving my family well, and I'm loving God's people well. That stuff can't happen if I'm constantly distracted by the things that don't matter. Here's the thing, your mission, your purpose cannot afford to go uncompleted. Not because you need to do it, but because the mission is so great. How about this? How about we just conclude this video? I really hope that it has been helpful to you guys. You don't have to feel guilty for wanting to stretch yourself out. Even if you've said that you were gonna be okay with being a wife and a mom and going to work and living your life and supporting your husband, there's nothing wrong with realizing one day, God has called me to more and I've gotta figure out how to do it. And you know what? It's possible for us to do it. We've just got to start spreading out this load. There's this belief that we have that, this is my husband, so I have to be able to take care of him in every area of his life. These are my kids. I had them. They're my responsibility. I'm the only one that can watch them. I can't call people to help me. And if my husband can't help me, then I don't have anybody else. Look, we put way too much pressure and expectation on this guy who we know cannot be us. So what are you going to do? You're either going to change your expectation and expect him to be a super dad and a super husband and not a super wife and a super mom, because he's not going to be that. Or you're going to just go ahead and invite other people in to be a part of the ministry that God has called your family to do. It is literally bringing people along for the ministry and the work that God has you doing and letting them play a part in it. I feel so passionate about this topic because it's been so hard for me. It's been a journey all the way through this year. It's hard to even recognize for me when I need help, but I'm getting better at it because being a wife and a mother cause you to think of yourself as small. And that's not a bad thing. We're supposed to be small. If you want to be made great, you have to be a servant. But it's okay to make yourself small, but your purpose is big. So here's the question. Are you guys ready for 2020? Seriously, are you ready to live out your purpose? Are you ready to get rid of the mommy guilt and the wife guilt and figure out how you can really stretch yourself out of that box and be everything that God has called you to be? Living out your purpose is probably the most selfless thing that you can do, but we absolutely can. We got to stop taking all the power, wanting all the glory. Let's let God work through us. Let's let God send us people. Let's let God write our story so that we can be more effective, so that we can truly let our kids see who their mom is and let this man know who he married to and who he messing with, okay? Because we powerful. We're going to be exceptional wives. Our marriages are going to stay intact, right? Right? Don't give up, okay? Please, please, I need y'all. I need y'all for real, okay? Go ahead and like this video if you've made it to the end. Subscribe and share with a wife going into 2020 that is about to take it by storm and live out her life, especially if she's looking tired and like, how am I going to do this with all these people? And I just need a break, and I'm forgetting, like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I can't. Share it with her. She needs it, okay? Me too. I'm just going to watch this video again. I'll see y'all later. Bye.